Hey y'all, Jonathan here. Today I want to show you the first episode of It Was Comfortable. That is the unpack that Michael Hager and I do after each of our comfortably uncomfortable conversations. They happen every other Wednesday, but I know you knew that. So sit back, relax, and listen. And I hope to see you guys this coming Wednesday, that's tomorrow, on our next comfortably uncomfortable conversation. Be awesome.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a hair flip.
No, I saw my notes on the couch and I was like, what's that piece of paper? It's my notes.
Hey, Michael, welcome to It Was Comfortable. Nope, that is not what we're supposed to say. This is It Was Comfortable, guys. Welcome. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Michael.
Did that sound more lifelike?
It did.
Okay, anyway, so we're going to talk about our latest comfortably uncomfortable conversation that we had last night, the 13th of What month is it?
It's January.
Is it really?
It was.
Doesn't feel like it. So usually we have a couple of topics that we talk about during CUC, but not last night. All we talked about was the white supremacists on the Hill.
Insurrection at the Capitol. And it was a very lively conversation.
You know what was the one thing through everything that drove me crazy was when I kept seeing memes of that that painted face fella, and all of the gays commenting on his attractiveness and how they would have their way with him. And, oh my God, I can't wait for him to get in prison and blah, blah, blah. Sexualizing this devil. And on top of that, this arrogant so-and-so then has the audacity to only request organic food because he's been on a hunger strike since Friday.
Well, and true to right form, he had his mommy complain.
His mommy complain.
Yeah.
Because he gets really, really bad poops if he eats regular food. So now the taxpayers he's in Arizona, I believe. The taxpayers are now it's Arizona, but the taxpayers are now having to pay for his Whole Foods trips while everyone else, probably black and brown, I'm probably guessing, is eating what? What do you get served in prison? I don't even know. Bread and water, oatmeal.
Well, it's the same thing that he was being served, and it wasn't good enough for him, and they snapped to and immediately were like, oh, you're right, sir. Here,
No,
have this other thing. You're white, sir. Exactly. Wah, wah, but very true. You know, it's so disgusting to me and makes me very upset about the way that our country operates, that the Republican Party put children in cages, separating them from their parents, put them in cages, and then tried to deny them school supplies, toothbrushes, hairbrushes, like standard things that human beings need, especially small developing human beings, small developing mouths. You've already damaged these kids, and now you're making people that have a conscience fight for these kids to have access to things like toothbrushes. But meanwhile, here is a terrorist who is saying, my mommy said I have to have organic food or else I get the poops. And he just, the caucasity of it all.
The caucasity of it all, the unmitigated caucasity. Yeah. And then there was somebody brought up the investigation about who giving them tours and what have you. And I hadn't heard of that. I hadn't heard of that when one of our guys said that.
Mhm. Yeah, representatives, GOP representatives were giving tours of hidden rooms to the terrorists the day before. You know, and to me, that is one of the things I think is really important to unpack, like how deep this sedition goes, you know, and the degree to which we allow the GOP to gaslight us, and
Mm-hmm.
they can say, oh, no, 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 you don't understand. And no, I do understand.
I do
And
understand.
over the course of the last decade, I have seen time and again, you know, starting with the Obama administration, these people trying to say, hey, I'm allowed to call him, you know, whatever I want. And I'm allowed to say whatever I want about, you know, Black Lives Matters protesters, you know, but when it comes down to the other foot, oh no, how dare you? The outrage that these people are having by being on no-fly lists and by, you know, being called terrorists is so disingenuous, and like it's unconscionable. It's unconscionable.
But I'm not surprised by it. I'm not. Just like just like a lot of Black people I know, we sat and watched with popcorn while the white people acted crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is, as quoted by Michelle Obama. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very interested to see what happens the next 6 days. And more importantly than that, the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I think
he is now a part of the fabric of this country, and his rhetoric will live far beyond him.
yeah.
And by him now being twice impeached, and maybe he'll be charged this time, maybe, it makes him a martyr.
Maybe, you know,
Yeah,
one of
I
the things
do.
that was interesting yesterday,
I
people
think, I think that his most loyal of followers, the gentleman, the humans that showed up in droves with pipe bombs, with guns, with Confederate flags.
violent terrorists.
Yes, and being led in by police officers. So what that all showed us is it's not, Trump may be the figurehead, the grand dragon. The grand dragon can always go away. There's always more idiots trying to make a name for themselves in the name of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the name. So no matter what happens, we are not done with this rhetoric. And when I hear that on the 21st of January, someone's going to file impeachment on Biden,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I don't know. Did you watch any of the hearings?
Oh, I saw.
That was some of the.
Oh yeah, we watched
yesterday.
C-SPAN all day yesterday. You know, and we watched C-SPAN because we prefer not to get all of the idiot box. You know, I happen to agree with quite a bit of what people on CNN say and, you know, MSNBC, but I prefer not to use them as my news sources because I'm not interested in what they have to say. I want to hear what my duly elected representatives have to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know how exactly to hold them to task
Mm-hmm.
for their lies and manipulation and the things that they're doing right now. And one of the things that really struck me about the bozo that said that she would, you know, submit these, impeachment charges against Joe Biden is that it's about abuse of power on his first full day in office, which she's saying now that he's abusing power, but he's not even in office. The degree to which if you want to run for office, you should have to take a civics exam. I'm very sorry. And if you can't pass a basic high school civics exam, you have no place running for office. Full stop.
Full stop.
Full stop. You know, these people who are like trying to say that, their rights are being impinged and, they're being silenced. It's like, no, actually, our country got along fine for hundreds of years without social media and technology. You actually have formal, job-driven devices to reach out to people and to access, the public. But people are choosing to, instead make it about something else. Like, it's crazy to me.
Because I personally feel like most Americans don't read.
Yeah.
Because
right.
we have inadvertently criminalized or made higher education so unattainable for the average person that why bother? I can't. It's not gonna help my life because my president is an idiot. So I don't know. Like for the last 5-10 years, we as a country have demonized intellectualism
and critical thinking.
Yes, we've demonized all of that, and so we have a society of inferiorly educated people. And I don't want to sound elitist in any way because I'm inferiorly educated. I barely went anywhere. Anyway, but I read and I try very hard to come up with, to figure out what this is all about, as opposed to being told. Because we all know that most of what you're being told isn't true. Or it is filtered through the lens of whomever you're getting it from.
So that's the thing about laziness that goes with people who are educated. And I think that that's part of the problem too, is I don't necessarily think that the education system is producing people that are thinking critically. It's producing lazies who are interested in, oh, you touched the red zone, therefore anything that you say is about this.
Yes.
And completely distracting and obfuscating what is actually happening. There's no real conversation, because we have too much people entrenched in their own sides and like unwilling or unable to be able to hear the arguments of the other side. And now we're even at a place where people on the left who are rational thinkers are going to be not interested in hearing the thoughts of people on the right, because there is, rightfully so, we shouldn't have trust and faith that these individuals are coming from a place of knowing or knowledge or helping. They heard someone else say something controversial and then they're just going to beat their chest about that.
And say it louder. And then if you say it enough times, it then becomes true. Because in the Twitter universe, in Facebook universe, I can put anything there and millions of people will believe it. It doesn't have to stay up very long, but millions of people will believe it.
Yeah.
And no, go on.
I was just going to say, I got in a fight with someone online last week, someone who was an old friend when I was in DC. He's in law enforcement, and he was like, this is not the time to be asking these questions and to be talking about the Capitol Police Force when they have fallen officers. And I was like, this is exactly the time. Imagine, actually, the other day it came out that another officer has lost an eye. Now imagine being the officer who lost an eye and then knowing that your colleagues were smiling and taking pictures with these trash heaps of people, while they're trying to kill you. And others are giving them guided tours. And others are like, yes, please come in and help me. What does that mean? And psychologically, and he was like, no, you're distracted. You're intellectually lazy. No, that is not laziness. Now, I think that's rigor. You're trying to take a complicated situation and be like, its complication means you can't talk about it. What the hell kind of gaslighting is that? Unfriend, block. Thank you, bye.
I'm done.
Like moths to a flame. please show me who I need to be blocking and removing from my life. It will make it so much easier if you just spew your hatred all over the place. Thank you.
You know, I waver between both of those because in my true soul, you know me, I try very hard to be as empathetic as I possibly can. I truly believe that everybody on this planet, if given the proper avenues, can find their ways toward joy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I sincerely believe that. But there are times where I run into people and I find myself in conversations, especially in the last couple of years, that have tested that resolve of mine to the limit. And for the safety of my own soul, there are people that I have to let go and let God.
Yeah.
I have to let you go because whatever it is you're going through in your life, I don't want to be a part of it.
Right. Because people can be activated for bad just as much as they can be activated for good. And I think that that's what we're seeing is that we have a bunch of people who probably have veins of ignorance and veins of lots of ills within them, and they were activated for evil. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's one of the reasons why they came with their torches and their pitchforks and their knives and their spears and all that kind of stuff, you know, and attacked in a very primitive and like horrible way the institutions of our democracy. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, completely, they didn't understand that they're doing something so wrong. Like, it's amazing the crybaby, I had no idea stuff that's coming out now, like especially from some of the high-powered people who are being fired and arrested and all of that. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. Mm-hmm. I am a patriot. No, you cannot. But there is a video right here with you spitting vitriol into your phone about how excited you are that you just conquered the Capitol.
Yes.
You cannot take that back with Crocodile
Day. We see this. We're all watching this.
That's right. That's right. And that's why I think we really do need to televise all of these trials. Mm-hmm. We need to see how the evidence is being used or not used, you know, to hold these people accountable. There's all of the information that comes from phones, and there's all the information that came out of that redneck parlay. You know? Yeah. Your asses should be grass. A black or a brown person who had 1/1000th of the evidence against them would be put on death row.
Well, a black or brown person would not have the opportunity to have all of that information.
Just been shot dead.
Yes, would not. A black or brown person wouldn't even have the opportunity to get that close to the building. We saw what happened this summer. Mm-hmm. We saw what happened this summer. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was like a war zone this summer because people like me were walking down the street saying, please don't kill us. And then what were we met with? The government saying, oh, but wait, we're going to try. Mm-hmm. And then every single day, dead black person, murdered black person, murdered black person. Cops getting away, cops getting away, cops getting away. Excuse here, excuse here. He was such a great person. He felt threatened, blah, 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 blah. Lie. Oh, my God, he was a criminal. Oh, my God, she was a whore. Oh, my God, she sold drugs, blah, blah, blah. Seriously. And now what are we hearing? You know, the guy who took the lecturer? Mm-hmm. He's, as the last I heard, he's such a good guy. He's a father of 5. His wife is a doctor. He's a good Christian. He didn't mean to do it. He didn't break any laws.
He's a terrorist.
His lawyers, I'm watching TV, his lawyers both sitting in $5,000 suits. Mm-hmm. They're sitting there in $5,000 suits, telling people that this man is a good man, while the people who are watching him from their trailer parks are saying, you know what, he is just like us. He's nothing like you. And neither are those attorneys. They're nothing like you.
Right.
So stop
That's right.
aligning yourself with people who have absolutely no desire to have you in their social circles or even in their lives.
Mhm. It's insanity. It is insanity. But
Banana.
I think that that's one of the things that's so important is that people, especially white people who are poor, vote against their own interests
Mm-hmm.
and carry along this cartload of hatred with them because
Mm-hmm.
they think that someday, tomorrow, maybe they'll win the lottery or the heavens will open and will rain golden ingots upon them and they're going to end up being the rich ones. And
Mm-hmm.
so they were part of this club all along.
All along. So I'm gonna vote against my interest, but I'm not because I'm white. So of course I'm entitled to everything. Even when I have nothing, I'm still better than. At least I'm not.
Yeah.
I may not have anything, but at least I'm not black.
Yeah.
At least I'm not a woman.
Yeah. The most, I think I shared this with you before, but the thing that struck me the most about the videos from the no fly list hashtags was that big fat white man on the floor in Reagan Airport screaming, "You would treat me like I'm a black person." Wow. That is everything you need to know about this situation.
Yep.
This is a racist, a hateful terrorist
Yep.
who thinks that he can do whatever he wants because he's white. And how dare you try to hold him to task as if he is a black person?
And
Wow.
I paint every single person there with the same brush. Every single one. And I saw a few black and brown faces littered in that crowd, and I still paint them with the same brush.
Yeah, you have to. The gay faces in that crowd too. It
Yeah.
turns out that
Did
Jake
you-
and Jelly guy, the horn guy, is a gay guy.
Did you hear about the other gay who calls himself the adorable deplorable? There's a video, I'll send it to you, about him talking about storming the castle, blah, storming the Capitol, blah, 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 methed out, tweaked out past Tuesday, and he's a hairstylist somewhere, and now he's upset and changed his story, saying that all he did was sat and had a picnic on the lawn, and now people are giving him death threats.
Talk about death threats. Coming out of the news last night, you know, more Republicans said that they had the conscience to vote for impeachment, but they had reason to believe for their safety and their family's safety because the number of death threats that are coming in from this riotous mob that are these terrorists that are all Republicans.
But
And you know the thing,
they co-signed on this type of behavior by co-signing with this administration. So
you invited this into your bed.
You get what you deserve.
Amen, sister
Do I
friend.
want someone to be murdered? Absolutely not. But you get what you deserve.
You got into bed with a monster, and now you're afraid because the monster shed in your bed and left a pee stain. Oh well, it's your job to clean up that mess. You got the monster in bed with you. You got to get the monster out. You know, and yeah, if you're getting death threats, then maybe your family needs to go and witness. If that's what it takes for you to show a spine and to do good and to live up to your oath, sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Wow, we had a really, really good chat yesterday.
We really did. We really did.
Yeah, we did a lot of our conversations are very spirited and interesting, and every time we're done, I walk away feeling so fulfilled and so invigorated, and I always learn something.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm so glad that we have these conversations and we have the opportunity to bring together people from diverse walks of life to share their experiences and their thoughts as they are exposed to these images and ideas and the injustices that are all around us. I feel like it's so important to be able to have this space to unpack this in a way that is supportive and kind and without judgment.
Absolutely. And of course, this is all part of all of this beautiful programming brought to you by Impact NYC. where Michael is the executive director. And I happen to be the social director. Isn't that delicious? And Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit about Impact?
Sure. Impact NYC is a social organization that's designed to combat isolation and stigma related to HIV. And we started as a happy hour program, actually having weekly happy hours about 10 years ago. And over the course of the last 2 years, we have been moving into different spaces and programming. And this is actually part of our Kikis, which are an opportunity to bring together our community to talk about issues that are really important to them. We have one set that's focused on sexual health, but over the last year, it became very apparent that we need these conversations in our space too, to talk about justice and injustice and what we can do about this.
And I love the idea of normalizing discussions about race. So that's how Comfortably Uncomfortable started. And our spinoff, Race Kikis, with good old-fashioned me, Jonathan Lee. And side note, we're going to have to do a second one. Our first one was very cold, and I would like to do a bit more lively.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always interesting, like to work out the kinks and the nerves. I know that I myself am a ball of nerves, so
I know
it's always some massaging to work out.
I'm so happy that you were my first guest, and that entire conversation is now up on Race Kikis with Jonathan Lee on YouTube in its entirety, unedited.
Yeah, go check it out, everyone. And
Yeah.
I'm really glad to have you as my friend, and I hope that we keep being able to bring in more people to have these conversations and to, hopefully light more torches.
And I'm happy to have you as my friend so that we can help the world be as awesome and fantastic as interracial friendships like we have.
Yay!
Yay!
Well, I love you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll
You too,
catch
darling.
up.
I will see you. Our next Race Kiki is on the 27th at 6 o'clock.
That's right. See you there. Be on the lookout for information in Impact NYC events, and also on our Instagrams and our Facebook pages.
And give us your Instagram, please, darling.
Oh yeah, at Mikey Hager or at Impact NYC.
And my Instagram is Race Kiki. It's at Race Kiki. Super easy. All right. Bye, everyone. Be beautiful.
Talk to you later.
Okay.